I just interviewed two successful people in sports cards, and they make money in completely different ways, but they both rely on the same thing. One is content focused and one is purely buying cards. But the perspectives I've learned from both of them definitely stopped to make me think and possibly adjust my sports card approach. The two guests I brought on were Sports Card Invest, who's the buyer, and Troy, who mainly focuses on content. On the surface, these look like totally different games. Troy's trying to build an audience for the long haul, while you have Sports Card Invest buying singles, looking to flip them for a profit in the future. And most people watching this think that you probably have to pick one. The biggest takeaway I had from both of these conversations is that social media is the biggest driver to both of their businesses. Even though their strategies are completely different, both of their businesses rely on attention. Troy uses his content directly to monetize, while Sports Card Invest uses his content to get eyeballs, build relationships and a network, and then buy cards from that. Most people think making money in sports cards is all about picking the right cards. I've always thought it's about positioning yourself in the ecosystem, and both of the guests I brought on reaffirm that. If you don't have attention, a great network, and distribution ability, even if you make the right picks on cards, it's going to be really difficult to make a lot of money. The most interesting thing Sports Card Invest had to say was his take on the key cards. He believes the top tier cards that are scarce and very important to the collectors are not only going to hold value, but they have a really good chance to go up in the near future. And that's a big shift from what a lot of people think right now, because the sports card high-end market is at a peak. But his point was not all cards are going to go up. It's the specific key ones of key players from key sets. The fact that Fanatics has been marketing the hobby at a super high level, and you only need a few buyers for these high-end cards to go up at auction, probably means that these cards are going to stay high and go even higher. Most people think the fact that the sports card market, especially the high-end one, is at a peak, it's probably going to go down in the next few months. But his take really opened my eye. And I think the fact that there's a lot of people making a lot of money, and even in a recession, the rich tend to get richer and make a lot of money. And the high-end sports card market is a game for the rich people now. So you're not likely to see these assets go down. They're turning into art pieces, you could say. And there's a good chance that the high-end sports card market, although it's not relatively important to most of us because we can't afford those cards, it's probably going to stay high and continue to go higher. And personally, I had been thinking that it's probably going to go down because the stock market's going down, Bitcoin's going down, and usually the high-end sports card market tends to follow that, but just lag a few months behind. But it's going to be very interesting to see. Maybe it won't. Maybe the high-end sports card market will be like the art market and it'll stay high because these are super rare pieces. Most other industries don't have items as rare as sports cards. One of ones are really one of ones. Number to 10 is really number to 10. And there's not that many opportunities to buy these cards. They're very rare, and a lot of people have money to spend and they're looking to put it into alternative assets, and high-end sports cards fit the bill. So we'll see what happens over the next few months. And this got me thinking about the junk slab era question and the fact that there's two levels of cards, and I think the separation between the two and the gap is widening. You have this stuff that's solidified in the market that's only going to go up or down if the entire market goes up or down. I'm talking the GOATs, the best sets, the best players. But then you also have a ton of cards that are getting graded of the third tier players from the third tier sets. And that type of stuff, it's probably going to be trouble if you want to hold it long term. As Kunal suggested in the podcast, you want to flip those cards and get rid of them fast because their futures are uncertain, and those cards are a lot more volatile than the GOATs and the best cards from the best sets. And then on the flip side, you have Troy, and what stood out to me more than anything is how nice and humble of a guy he is, especially for how many subscribers he's got on YouTube. Most creators I meet of his size are not that nice, and I've been friends with Troy for a few years, but still, he's very down to earth. And you can definitely see this from watching his content. And I think it's a big reason why he's as big as he is right now. You got two completely different paths from the two people I had on my podcast recently. Content and investing long-term in sports cards. They both lead back to the same thing, which is attention and leverage. And this is actually what drives success in this space. After hearing these two conversations, I really recommend for you guys out there, if you're trying to build in the sports card hobby, even if you just flip, invest in cards, I think you should have an Instagram page and start networking, because you want to build that out. It compounds over time. The more people you do deals with that trust you, the more outlets you have to sell cards, the better you could do. If you haven't watched the full podcast episodes yet, I highly recommend them. There's a lot more detail in there. I'll put the link below in the description to both. I appreciate your support to the channel. Thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you soon.